What's up, TCCTU and ORU? It is Samson here again for another episode, and we are deep into the summer season. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and for following along. These stories have been amazing, and I have been encouraged just in my own life. And so I'm grateful for all the stories that have been shared thus far and the stories that we have yet to uncover. And so today we have a special guest with us, Matthew. What's up, bro? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Matthew, of course. I'm from New Jersey, so nowhere near Oklahoma. I grew up in Robbinsville, so like just central. I'm pretty sure central New Jersey.
Yep.
Um, Basically just grew up in the same part of New Jersey for my entire life. Now I'm here. Didn't really move around, go outside of New Jersey too much. I have some family in New York, so sometimes I'd go there. Some family in Florida, but I'd usually just stay in my little bubble in New
Yep.
Jersey. I don't know what's outside of New Jersey or what's even in New Jersey, north or south.
Oh, that's solid. That's solid. And you are majoring in what?
Majoring in film studies.
Film studies at TU.
Yes.
Solid, man. Well, thank you so much for being willing to come on the fitting room and share your story, bro. I'm excited to get into it. And so, without further ado, bro, tell us, how did you get here?
So I didn't know what when I was in high going back to high school. When I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. My dad does marketing and he makes decent money.
Mm-hmm.
He makes good money. And so I was like, maybe I want to go into marketing. I asked my dad, like, hey, you think I should go into marketing? He was like, you will hate marketing. Don't do that. But he knew that like every day since I was in maybe elementary school, I'd take my mom's iPad or whatever device I could and try to record a little skit, be that with my sister or with my little stuffed animals. And
Yeah.
so he was like, I know you really like to do that. Why don't you try film studies? And I was like, you could do that? That's a thing? um, and so through there, we started looking at film schools, most of them in New York, most of them in big cities. We looked at Temple, we looked at Emerson, we looked at Boston.
Yeah.
Emerson, that was when I decided to, because I went to TU first to visit. I looked at the campus. I was like, this is a really nice campus, really big, really open space. It doesn't look as depressing as a city. So then after that, we went to Emerson, and I was like, okay, Emerson's like one of the biggest film schools. They got their programs are absolutely stacked, and I looked around and it was like, is this it? Because it's just one. It's a big building.
Yeah.
The dorms are cramped. It's classrooms. Next floor is uh, dorm rooms, and it's like this small little cramped space. I'm gonna hate it here. And so
And Emerson, that's in like a bigger city. Where's that at?
I'm pretty sure that's in Boston.
In
Yeah.
Boston. Oh man, yeah, that's city.
Yeah. Everything's walkable distance. But I was like, this is not my place. This is not where I'm meant to be because I was never used to a big city, and I don't know. And then I came here and I was just like, it's open space. Like the classrooms are very small, which I'm used to.
Yeah.
Like very small classrooms, so I'm able to raise my hand without
Mm-hmm.
being overcrowded by a group of just like hundreds, 200s of people. So that was really refreshing. It does feel a little weird getting up to use the bathroom and not having to raise your hand because it is a small classroom, and usually like when you think of college you think of like these ginormous lecture
Oh
halls,
yeah. Oh yeah.
where you can just walk up and no one will notice you. But if you go up and go to the bathroom, everyone will notice you.
Everyone's looking over at you as you
Yeah.
go.
But I really like it here in TU. But aside from just not wanting to go to the big city, it was also price. Because
Mm-hmm.
before going to college, my parents agreed that the first 2 years they'll cover it like fully, and then the last 2 years that's fully on me.
Mm.
Which even then, that's a lot of money,
Yeah.
especially for college. So I decided I'm gonna go to the cheapest school, and then I'm gonna just build what I can from that. Because I'm not gonna go to a $100,000 film school where I'll be like, do I really want to do film? Because right now I don't even want to do film. I want to go more into like the like weddings. I want to do weddings. I want to do event
Oh, yep.
videography. That's what I'm kind of doing right now with the circus. And it's very fun going from place to place where film, they kind of want you in one place, like shooting for an entire day.
Yeah.
I kind of want to bounce all over the place because I get bored easily. And I just need to keep bouncing and keep doing stuff and keep seeing new people and new
Oh,
places.
yeah.
And TU, especially with the big campus, it's massive. And also, just around Tulsa, you don't really need permits to record anywhere. So you can record wherever you like. Not a lot of people are going to have problems. And it's just kind of perfect.
Yeah. No, that's solid. I there's something that you mentioned that kind of made me curious. You seem to have gravitated towards kind of a more low key spot
Mhm.
versus a place with higher traffic and a lot more kind of almost like a confinement, like you felt kind of like stuck in that.
Yeah.
Is this kind of, when it came to picking schools, is this kind of the only area that you've seen this pop up, or is this something that has played a role in other areas of your life?
Can you say again? Sorry.
So is the kind of gravitating towards smaller, a little bit more, I want to say country, because Tulsa's kind of, it's not country. It's a city, but it's not New York,
It's got kind of, well, I ask people, I'm like, so what is Oklahoma? What is Tulsa? And depending on who you ask, they're like, oh, we're in the South. It's like, no, this is what is it? Mid South Central?
Yeah.
Something. It's like, oh no, it's the Midwest. It's like, make up your mind. Where are we? Where am I?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But do you like, for example, maybe this is a better way to articulate this.
Mhm.
Um, on the TU campus, do you feel yourself gravitating towards areas where there's a lot more high traffic, a lot more probably like games and stuff like that, like where it's like a lot more high traffic, or do you feel yourself kind of
Mm.
more gravitating towards the smaller, quieter spots that are probably a little bit less traffic? And does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a homebody,
Okay.
so I'll do anything I can just to stay at home because I'm always moving around working. And so when I get back from work, I just want to be in my room, clean up my room, because my room, that's kind of like not my dungeon. It's kind of
I
like
feel it. I
my
feel
little
it.
throne room. Like I make sure most of the times I make sure it's clean because if my room is clean, my head is clean.
Yep.
Um, but I really like being in my room. Usually, if I have some friends that's kind of why I joined a frat. I didn't join a frat for like the parties. I joined it because if there's something going on, then I hear about it and then I can like go out. Because if I'm in my room for too long, I'm like, I should probably go out and do something, but I
Yeah.
don't know how. But usually I'll have some friends that'll knock on my door and be like, hey, we're going to go out to this place to eat or we're going to go to this thrift store.
Yeah.
And it's kind of awesome because then I get to do a lot of stuff. I get to actually make memories of college because back in high school, although I did hang out with my friends, I mostly hung out with them in my high school because I wasn't really a fan of going out. So I'd
Yeah.
hang out with them. I had my school friends and then I had my out of school friends, which most of my out of school friends were just friends that I played video games with.
Yeah.
One of my best friends in high school, I met him when I was fencing. He quit, so
Wait, you
I
said
just,
you said fencing?
yes. Oh, I did a lot of sports when I was growing up.
Well, as soon as you said fencing, I was like, wait, is this like the
Oh
fencing?
yeah, like the sword fighting.
No, that's solid. That's solid.
Yeah, but I met him through fencing, and so we'd play video games every day. I had friends that I met on a game called Overwatch, and
Hmm.
they're from Canada. So I love talking to people. I love interacting with people. So even when I'm in my room, like being a little homebody, I do still like that human interaction.
Yeah. No, that's solid. And it makes a lot of sense too, especially when you think about the idea of kind of the film space you want to enter into is more like, videography, being able to go to all these different places and meet different people and connect
Mhm.
with different people, but at the same time be able to go home versus like film where you're like in one set all day,
Yeah,
feeling almost kind of stuck.
yeah.
No, that's cool. So when you decided to kind of move in the direction of film, you mentioned like your dad saying, "Hey, why don't you do something in this nature?" Did you feel it kind of evolving after that, or did you feel like it was a moment where you're like, "Yes, that is exactly what I want to do," or was it something that you're like, "Maybe," and then over time it kind of evolved?
Yeah, so there was definitely a lot of twists and turns through what I wanted to do. Because at first, I remember talking to my dad before I even went off to college. I was like, I don't even, do I want to go to college? It's such a big like commitment. I kind of want to do streaming because video games are my life. Like how I, that's what I associate with like happiness. Like that was my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And then making videos is also my passion. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And my dad was like, okay, just try some college. If you want to do streaming, you can do like that at college. And so I went into college. I was like, okay, I want to try to stick to one thing because like cameras are difficult. Cameras are difficult to like manage, especially when everyone's checking them out because the settings are messed up on this camera or the tripod has this
Yeah.
piece missing and I got to go back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick with something stationary. I'm going to stick to editing. People are going to give me their footage. I'm going to edit that footage. I'm going to have other people in charge of the cameras, other people in charge of the sound.
Yeah.
But then I realized when I'm editing, oh, there's a smudge on the camera, or this wasn't in focus, or this should have been longer, or the mic was kind of cracking up and like
Yeah.
there was wind in. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to move on to cameras now because it's like if the footage doesn't look perfect, then the editing process isn't going to be as smooth or as rewarding as it used to be.
Yeah.
And so that kind of evolved from uh, doing camera stuff than doing sound stuff. I invested in lavs because I'm like a lot of the
You
stuff
said
I record.
you said you invested in what?
Lavaliers.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I got my DJI mic mini,
Yeah.
and it helps so much because like I used to check out a Sennheiser lavalier from the film department,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was a lot of wires that I had to wrap up. Where this, it just looks like a little AirPod case,
Yep.
and also just like film equipment makes me so giddy, and I'm like I need more. But I'm also
And
just
was
like
this all happening while you were in college?
yes.
That's awesome.
I've just became more like I need to do everything. I need to make sure this is in order. I need to make sure this is all good. Because if everything's not perfect, if I'm doing my senior project and everything's not perfect, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna be like, we gotta re-record this. And so, like right now, I'm doing a film with the jewelry store I work at.
Mm-hmm.
It's they basically want me to do a biopic, and I'm doing little snippets of like their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm in charge of sound. I'm in charge of the camera. I'm in charge of the lights. I'm in charge of editing, color grading, and just like having all of that control. It feels very nice. Like it's something that's low octane that
Yeah.
I can like make sure that I have hands on everything. Because if I'm on a film set, I'm like, okay, I can't be all the way over there with the mics. I gotta be over here, like with the camera.
Yeah.
But with like a interview setup, everything is so condensed, and I kind of like that.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So you mentioned something earlier, and I kind of want to go back to it for a moment. When your when your dad was recommending to you the idea of film studies,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that you were filming something. What were you were filming like you had like a setup or something that you were filming, and he was like, "Yo, you should like you look like you are more passionate about that." What was that? What were you filming?
So growing up, there was this one YouTube channel that I really loved. It was I don't know. You ever heard of Yokai Watch?
Yokai Watch.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ben 10, kind of like Pokemon,
Okay.
Bakugan,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a Japanese children's show. And there was a channel
yeah. Mm-hmm.
where this guy took the stuffed animals from that and he'd voice act all of the stuffed animals and he'd kind of like move them around, make a little story with them. There was also stuff with like Sonic, Five Nights at Freddy's, and so I'd watch those when I finally had YouTube access, because my parents would never let me watch YouTube. When I finally had YouTube access, I was just watching those like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have a bunch of stuffed animals. I could do that. So I'd get my mom's iPad with her pretty pink little rubber case. And so I'd pretend to create a story. And I don't like writing scripts beforehand, so everything would be improvised.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where I came into the problem where like during film I'm a control freak, because I'd invite my sister. I'd be like, okay, if you wanted like try to help me with these, and then she'd go a different direction, and I'm like, I don't like that. And she'd be like, what do you want from me?
This is not what's supposed to be happening right now.
Like there was no script. I couldn't tell her this is what I wanted, because I just worked off of, I have these characters. Oh, we're going to go to a boardwalk this episode, even though it was in my room. Oh, we're going to do this episode. And I don't know if I even edited any of the episodes. It was just fun playing with them and recording.
Yeah, no, that's solid. And at what age was this around?
This was maybe, I can't say age, but maybe, I think maybe in like the elementary school.
Okay. Yeah, no, that
like
makes
fourth
sense.
grade
Yeah.
type. And then middle school, I kind of went into more like live action projects, because I had to do projects for like my classes. They needed like, oh, we need someone to edit this video, because we had like for Spanish, we had to record stuff. Had to be a story about like, I don't know, whatever words we were learning, like for global warming or for pollution or for like certain things. I have so many
Yeah.
videos in my phone of me like editing and recording projects, and that was kind of middle school. High school, I kind of leaned into more personal projects, so I'd edit stuff for like, if my friends were like, we had a like funny personal joke between us, I'd make a video dedicated to that. I'd send
Yeah.
it to them, and they'd be like, this is really funny. I do personal stuff. I'd also keep doing stuff for my classes. Like I'd have to do a music video, or I'd have to do I did do an animated series for a while, where it was just like, it's so hard to explain, but it was like cardboard cutouts of me and my friends, and I'd kind of like edit them to like reenact whatever situation I needed to.
Yeah.
And so like my journey has just evolved, and a lot of them has just been like non-traditional ways of going about video editing. And so I don't even think at the time, I didn't want to go into film, because it didn't really fall into the realm of film. It more fell into the realm of like streaming, like YouTube, because YouTube, it's very unique in what it like lets in.
Yeah.
Whereas film, like you gotta follow, well, like there are filming aspects, like 2/3, like the rule of thirds, but like for filming, like you gotta have this story structure, or you gotta have this lighting setup, or you gotta have this editing style, where it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be me.
Yeah. No, and you brought up the streaming, and that's come up a couple times where I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because I feel like streaming and videography are related, but almost like cousins rather than siblings, right?
Yeah.
But so what do you feel like you get from video editing, shooting, and all of that maybe streaming doesn't give? And maybe what do you get from streaming that video and editing and shooting and all that doesn't give?
Well, the type of streaming I was trying to go for was like playing a game, having fun commentary, inviting some friends along to like play with me, and then like editing it all together, and then posting it to YouTube, and then have like a fun little editing style, whether that be like having little animated characters in the corner, or having like little segments where I do who knows what. But that between, because they're both the same. Like a lot of people forget that streamers also have to edit their videos. Like if they're hiring someone, there is like a sort of editing that goes into it. There's still preparation with like, how do I set up the mic? How do I set up the camera so that the camera is like, how do I set up the camera to like where it's not grainy? Because also with a lot of setups, you need a lot of light, because if you don't have a lot of light, then the footage looks grainy. And that's kind of like what I struggled with when I first started editing, or when I first started shooting in college. It's like, this is different from an iPhone, because I have to do everything manually, and iPhone self-corrects a lot. And if I don't have enough lighting, unlike an iPhone, A7 IIIs, those specific cameras, like it will look quite grainy and not as nice. And we did a lot of night shots my freshman year, and I was like, I don't know why it looks like this, and so I have to do a lot of research, and a lot of stuff that I learned for video editing is from YouTube.
Yeah.
You could probably ask some of the professors, but something I also haven't learned is that I'm pretty sure the TU film studies major, it's more of like film theory rather than applied film.
Oh.
Like instead of showing you like this is how you use a camera and getting into depth with that, they're more talking about like they use these colors in this film to portray these emotions, or in this documentary they do this because it means this. Like they do
Interesting.
tell you different techniques, but it's not like we all go out as a class and we all film something together. There are some
Oh.
classes like that,
Yeah.
but most of them are theory.
Do you feel like that was disappointing to find out? Were you hoping for the kind of practical aspect versus the theoretical?
I was kind of hoping for the practical aspect, but then thinking about it again, TU, it's an engineering school. Like all in all, their main advertising is it's a big engineering school. Most of my friends are engineering and business.
Yeah.
And so like that's the big thing people go into. So like the arts, they're kind of like lightly touched up on, especially film. Film is kind of like in the back burner. So it's like
Yeah.
whatever you make of it is whatever you get out of it. So although it is kind of sad because we had a cinematography class 1 year and then it just like never popped up again. So it's like I can't really learn to use a camera. So I
That's
was like, you
tough.
know what? I'm gonna learn how to use a camera because I don't need to take a class just to learn to how the shutter works or how what to set the ISO at
Yeah.
or I don't know other stuff.
Yeah.
I can learn all of that through YouTube, and so it's like, why wait when I can just do it now?
No, that's cool. I never knew that about well, first of all, I never knew that about streaming at all. Like I didn't know how much goes into the streaming. I thought it was crack on a camera while
Yeah,
you're doing something. And I thought it was like I part of me even thought part of it is like live and then you just upload the live. But
yeah,
it's cool to hear how much kind of goes into that, and at least from what I'm hearing, it almost sounds like a big draw is like the editing. Like that's kind of like what got you at first, but then you're like, oh, I don't need to just edit. Like I need to get more of this because the stuff that I'm getting is not good or it's
yeah,
not helping me in the editing journey. So it's cool to hear that's all like kind of streamlined when it
yeah.
comes to the streaming, when it comes to the videography. Okay, so right now in your life, right, like with all that's taking place and all that's happening, what is I guess some challenges, some opportunities that are kind of like in front of you that you've been dealing with?
Well, big opportunities is that so I a lot of the jobs that I have right now, which are directed towards my major, I got from like word of mouth, which is how a lot of people in freelance get jobs. They don't really apply on Indeed and it's like, okay, we want you to take pictures of this or shoot this. It's more of just like, hey, I heard from a friend that you're really good at this. We'll hire you for this. We'll pay you this amount. And then it just kind of like rolls in from there. So the jewelry store, I kind of heard from there was an email that was sent out from TU. They were like, "Hey, this jewelry store needs a social media manager," and I was like, "I might not take," because I was working two jobs at the time, and I was like, "I don't need to tack on a third one." And then I
Yeah.
interviewed with them, and I was like, "I'm gonna tack on a third one," and so I did that. And then through the jewelry store, they actually because it's a jewelry store, they're like big in weddings, and
Yeah.
so they went to this like it was a mock wedding that a lot of photographers were showing up to taking pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and the jewelry store was like selling jewelry, and also there was this wedding painter who would like paint the groom and the bride,
Oh, yep.
and I met her and I started talking to her. And her boss actually works for a circus. So I started talking to her. And she was like, how would you like to intern for the summer? And I was like, for a circus.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because, like, you think of circus, you think of colorful. And it's they do a lot of LED. And I've been to a lot of fire shows. I've been to a lot of
Yeah.
LED shows. And it's like, it's a dream come true. But because I'm not a performer and I'm more of a talent manager and videographer, my hours are very limited. And
Yeah.
so I find myself during the school year, during the summer, finding myself not getting as much as I kind of wanted, because like especially because film equipment is so much money, and so I'm just like I need to get money, but I also just want to keep doing what I love,
Yeah.
and so it's a little hard because I'm used to routines. So I like when I can get up in the morning and I'll go to work and I'll know that I'm in from this time to this time.
Yeah.
But for like weekly meetings for the circus, I'm in at 10 and then I'm like, okay, is there enough work for me to keep myself occupied until 5? And so I think that's also where I need to find the balance of having a job where I'm doing what I'm interested in and then having a job where the work is consistent, where I know I have to
Yeah.
be in at this time. I know I have to do this, that. Um, and yeah, those are like, it's so hard, but I really want to do it. But it's like I need something in the back burner to like keep making me a consistent amount of money just to like pay for my loans, pay for my film equipment,
Yeah.
pay for just like insurance, my motorcycle, anything repairs.
Yep.
And it's just like it all stacks up and it's all money and it's all like I don't want to have to think about money. I want to think about my art.
No, that I feel that. And dude, the circus sounds so awesome.
It is
When you
so
said this,
awesome.
when you said the circus, I'm like, yo, that's a job right there. That's that's exciting. What I mean, just out of curiosity, what's kind of been your favorite part of working there?
Fire shows.
Fire shows.
Yeah, I have to pack out equipment for the fire shows, so they've taught me like this is what you need. Like we have fire breathing, there's this thing called Leica,
Hmm.
where you basically like stuff it into a pipe, you light the other end, and then you swing it around, and it just like creates this cloud of fire. Like the fire like sparks off, and because it's like mushroom,
Yeah.
it's like it's ground up mushroom, and so like it ignites, and then it like quickly goes away. And so along with that, they have to have me because I'm a talent manager and I'm also the videographer. So I have
Mm.
to make sure like no one catches on fire. Apparently, I didn't even know this. There are two separate types of fire extinguishers. One of them you're not supposed to get on your skin. The other one might cause like burns because it's like so there's a CO2 one and then there's like just the regular one like the foam. The
Mm.
foam one you're not supposed to use on people. You're supposed to use it on like if the grass is on fire or if a building's on fire. The
Yeah.
CO2 one it's perfectly fine for people because like it won't burn your skin. It's not chemically toxic.
Yeah.
But you do have to make sure you don't keep it on for too long because it will. I think it does get cold, so it will probably freeze your skin.
Yeah.
And kind of like burn it. So I kind of have to like train that. And then like when they're done with a piece of equipment, I have to get like a fire blanket and then smother the fire with that so that it doesn't keep burning. And so it's just really fun recording it and then also just like making sure like putting out fires because there's just something about fire that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sound like a pyromaniac right now, but like
No.
that's why a lot of people hire them because they're like, wow, I've never seen this before, and I've never been to a fire show either. So I saw it for the first time. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I feel it. And what's cool too is at least for me, like I don't have any memories of ever going to a circus. So like
Mhm.
you mentioning this is like, yeah, I gotta check them out. Like
Yeah,
fire show sounds exciting.
and they're based in Bixby, but they do most of their stuff in Tulsa. They do, I think it's every second and last Wednesday of the month. They do something called Circus Jam, where they will go to the Guthrie Green and they'll do like a bunch of performances and they'll teach kids how to like juggle, how to hula hoop, how to do a lot of stuff. And like I didn't know how prevalent they were in Tulsa before I started talking to them. They
Yep.
used to be at our basketball games. I was like, where were you when I like I never went to any of the basketball games. I never went to any of the football games. Where were you guys when I was there? Like, come on.
No, I feel it. I feel it. No, that's awesome. And so, aside from the circus, one of the things that you mentioned, kind of going into, I guess, this semester coming up, is trying to figure out that balance of finding that stable job and still being able to do something you enjoy. So, is that you saying that, okay, I want to keep this circus thing, but I also want to find something else that will be sustainable throughout college?
Yeah. So the circus, it's fun, but the hours, like, they are paying me really good money, which I thank them for that. But it's whether I have enough work for them that they'll need me every single day. So there is, I was looking, there is a Starbucks on campus, which I've worked at a coffee shop before. Not a really good experience. It's I don't know if I can name drop them, but it is one on Cherry Street. But I have worked there. At any coffee shop, the people, like the staff you work with, they are the most interesting. I still keep in touch with all of them. They all quit, but I still keep in touch with all of them because they are the most interesting people I've ever met.
Yeah.
But the management is, I don't know if it's a trend among like every coffee shop, but the management, they're just all so evil. And it's like, it's a coffee shop. I thought this was supposed to be a very welcoming place. A very just like laid, not laid back. Like, I'll do my job and I'll be good at it. But like a very laid back place. And it's like, I guess when you get that much business, you got to be a little evil because it's like, I want this now. And it's like, okay. But I'm thinking of applying to the Starbucks on campus because like it's not a Starbucks where I don't know the people. I know most of the people, and they're students. They're not like 40-year-old men like on business calls like, oh, I'm gonna need you to, are you stupid? It's like, all right. So like there's some sort of, I like knowing that my job isn't gonna be super, it's not going to make me super anxious because that's also why I don't want to go into film, because it's like, you don't know how to do this, you're stupid, you're worthless. It's like, you don't know how to wrap cables, you don't know what this like niche term is that I learned when I was in, I don't know, this set. It's like, no, I don't, because I never learned it. And it's like you go from that classroom setting to where it's like, it's okay to ask questions, it's encouraged, to the film industry where it's like, if you don't know this, what are you doing on set? Like everything is time, everything is like, we got to get this done right now. And it's like, you got to give me time. I don't know any of this stuff. So
100%.
The circus has been really nice and being patient with me, and I love them for that. And they're also, they hire a lot of freelance workers, so they know a little bit about the business. So I might like inquire, like, so how do I get this started? Because like, I'm trying to start a business with my film. How did you start? Because they started from the ground up.
Oh.
It used to be just the main person, Kelsey, and she used to do hula hoop shows, and she used to also do fire shows. And then she started like adding more staff, adding more freelancers, and then she built up the Inspiral Circus name. And I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
No, that's what's up. You know, so as I'm like kind of like listening to the whole story and experience, right? Going from New Jersey to Tulsa and kind of in the film space. One of the things that I'm kind of hearing is almost, I guess I'm curious about this too, because the idea of like constraint, right? When you were talking about, was it Emerson? Was that the name of the film school?
Yeah.
Like being in this tall building.
Yeah.
And it's like confined, right? It's like this picture in my head of confined, and then you come to you and it's like spacious. It's like there's not many tall buildings, you know. It's just kind of spread out a lot more loose. But then also, you mentioned something about like permits, like for people to be able to film. Like Tulsa's a lot more loose. There's like, hey, you can film kind of almost wherever.
There's a lot of open space.
Yeah.
Compared to a city, everything is crunched up.
Yeah. And so in my head, I guess, in you're talking about the film industry and how they might put some constraints on you. Do you sense or feel like, um, I don't know, I guess, like, do you see yourself as a creative who needs that freedom and space to, I guess that's kind of like the thought that's come into my head. It seems like you're a creative who's like, yo, I need this space to bloom, to have fun, to be a little bit more free, to be expressive, to go to places that I maybe don't normally go, whether it's a jewelry shop or, the circus or, that's I guess my thought process.
Yeah, definitely. So, like doing, I love being able to do what I need to do. I love being able to give myself time to think like, what do I want out of this video? What kind of style do I want out of this video? Instead of following what everyone's doing, because working in social media, it definitely changes your mind about like it's I don't like social media that much. Like I like watching videos, but I don't like being like, you got to make these videos. You got to have this sort of editing style for social media so that people will actually watch your videos because
Yeah.
people love the same stuff. And I'm guilty of this too. I love like when stuff looks like other stuff, but working in the jewelry store, I keep getting these ads for like, you know why your videos aren't doing good? Because you're not using AI. I use AI, and now my videos like I don't I if I could go my entire life without hearing those ads ever again, that'd be bliss. Because like I'd be looking on Instagram for inspiration, and I just get these ads like, this is why blah 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 is failing, or this is what you need to do for your social media videos. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's also that stuff doesn't make views, it doesn't make money. But like if I could do my own videos and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and
Sorry, random alarm. Keep going.
all and make a living off of it without being under these constraints, being under this pressure to use these sounds or to use this music, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna use my music. But not a lot of videos are using the music that I love listening to,
Yeah.
and so it's like I gotta figure out what I want to do. I gotta make my videos visually interesting so that it grabs people, and it's just like it's complicated.
No, I
It's
feel it.
very complicated.
I feel it. And and I guess I wonder too, if part of the idea of having something like, that job that brings sustainable income,
Mm-hmm.
if part of the nervousness of going back into that space is, yeah, coffee shops can sometimes have like these evil managers, but it's also like the constraint that those managers try to put on you in that workspace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love to preserve who I am, because there's a lot of people who don't agree with what I eat, how I dress, how I act, and I feel like some of those are personal attacks on my personality, because it's
Yeah.
like I can't control who I am. Like I don't know, like I've been told like, oh, the way you're dressed is not professional, or the things you're wearing, that's not like what everyone else is doing. And it's like I don't want to do that. Like there was one time I was eating something. I think I was eating soup with a fork, because like there was stuff in the bottom, and then my friends were kind of like, why are you doing that? It's like, because I can. And it's like some people, like I don't like being put down, told that I can't do things that I like totally can. Because it's like, what's the point of that? What's the point in telling me that I can't do this
Yeah.
when I'm doing it right now?
Yeah.
Why can't I eat my soup with a fork when you're seeing me eating my soup with my fork?
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Why can't I dress the way I do when I dress with how I dress? They're just clothes.
Yeah.
Like I got my own style. I don't want to change my style.
I feel it.
And it's like, I don't know. Like there are some places you gotta wear a suit, and it's like, I don't want to wear a suit. Like there are specific things where I will cave, and I'll be like, okay, I will wear a suit.
Yeah.
But there's specific things. It's like I'm gonna be who I want to be.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Do you sense that in, like, were there times throughout your life where you felt like people deliberately tried to put those restraints on you, and you were like, and you felt the bucking back against, or were there moments where you caved and you felt like, man, I shouldn't have caved? Like, what brought you? I guess I'm curious as to like what brought you to this point where you're like, I need to stand on this. I need to
Yeah.
stand on business.
So back when I used to live with my parents, like growing up, cause like we used to go to church a lot. We used to go to like these fancy things, and they wanted my hair to look a specific way. They needed it to be short, my hair to look a specific way. I needed to wear these collared shirts. I needed to wear jeans. I hated wearing jeans back then because they'd get me like the tightest jeans. My legs, I'd feel so compressed. I didn't feel like loose. I didn't feel free. And but they wouldn't let me grow my hair out long. They wouldn't let me have earrings. And so like right around when I was about to go to college, I was like, these are my decisions to make. I'm going to grow my hair out long. I'm going to get my ears pierced.
Yep.
I'm going to wear loose fitted clothing. Cause I realized I don't hate jeans. I actually love jeans. I just don't like tight fitting jeans.
Yeah.
I love loose fitting jeans. I love that kind of style. I love loose fitting shoes.
Yep.
But I wasn't really able to do that because also living with Hispanic parents, they're pretty strict. They're pretty strict about what they want, how they want to present. And so there were a bunch of times we'd go out in public, and I feel like I would be embarrassing my family, like with the stuff I'd say or with how I dress. But now everything is on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason growing up, I used to do a lot of sports.
Yeah.
I did football, basketball, soccer, hockey, tennis, gymnastics, karate. My parents, if I wasn't in a sport, they'd put me in a sport.
Yeah.
It was, you do a sport for 2 years, and if you want to switch, you can switch out. We got to switch to another sport.
Yeah.
And so I did all these sports, and I was like, I don't know why I don't like them. And then I switched to fencing, which fencing it's not a team sport.
Yeah.
Fencing is all about me.
Mm-hmm.
I make what I get out of it. So if I lose, I'm only disappointing myself. I'm not disappointing an entire team. So I was like, if I lose, I lose. I'm not gonna care too much about if I lose a fencing match. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna try to go into fencing, but I need to be in a sport. And so I feel like that's the same thing with being on a team. Because being on a hockey team, you gotta skate fast. You gotta do this. You gotta make this amount of goals. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to focus on myself. I want to be me. I want to fence how I want to fence.
Yeah.
If I want to twirl my sword around before I hit the guy, I want to twirl my sword around to hit the guy. If I want to lunge a certain way, I can lunge a certain way. Like, there's so much. I love freedom. There's so much freedom. I felt so confined doing other sports, but now I feel like I can do what I want to do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You know, it's really cool to hear kind of like the backstory behind that, because it naturally, from just a conversation and from what I've heard, is like you seem to be a natural creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like creative stuff, whether it's videography and streaming, video games, hanging out, right? Like, these are natural creative type stuff. And it sounds like kind of going through, I guess, the transition coming out of high school is entering into the space of I want to learn more about myself and learn to be comfortable with myself,
Mm-hmm.
versus trying to almost mold yourself to everybody else. It's like, no, I want to figure out who I am. And that's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many college students who enter into college and they're debating, okay, do I figure this out for myself, or do I keep leaning into the mold of who I'm supposed to be?
Yeah, because that's what I did in high school, and I hung around the shittiest people. They were, I don't know what I was going through in high school, but these people, they were just very openly racist, very openly homophobic, very openly just like all these things that, like, I didn't know if I wanted to be that or if I just wanted to be in a friend group. I just wanted to like have interactions with people. Then I got to college and all of that disappeared. Cause like I realized these people, like, there are people that like, they don't think the same way. And so I was like, okay, I don't have to keep acting like this piece of shit.
Yeah.
I can be myself. And being myself included not being openly racist and homophobic. And I was like, I'm not actually these things.
Yeah.
I'm just what they wanted me to be. And there have been times in college where I have tried to go back into that mold just to impress people, but then I've just like kind of gone back because it's like, no, why am I doing this again? They don't want me to be who I am, so I'm not gonna be who they want me to be.
Yeah. No, that's the journey, right? Like that's the journey of life, trying to find our unique self and trying to and I think the danger of trying to make everybody like, this kind of, I guess, person that we think is the perfect person, whatever image that is in our head, is that we lose kind of like the whole picture, right? It's like trying to make every, I guess, piece of the puzzle the same. It's like, well, then you lose the picture of the whole thing. Like, it's a pointless thing, right? Like, the beauty is everything's different. The beauty is everything's unique. The beauty is everything has its spot. And yeah, it's cool to hear this in your journey. It's okay. So as you see yourself kind of down the road, right? And this could be after graduation, this could be 40, 50 years, whatever you want. Like, where do you kind of see yourself down the road?
So down the road, there are two paths I want to take. So down the road, I want to keep doing freelance. I want to keep getting names, getting numbers, getting recommendations, getting these people, building connections. Because what I really want to do with videography, what I couldn't do with film, is build connections, not just with top industry people, but with people.
Yeah.
Because people are awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to do that, like that elevator pitch, like, my name is Matthew, I'm worth this much. I want to be like, hey, my name is Matthew, I want to do work for you because I really like what you're doing, and I kind of just like want to film that because that's your passion and this is my passion. I don't want to have to be like, I don't have to sell myself. I want to have to build a connection just because I want to build a connection.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep doing freelance until I can get into that big, like a production company, whether I start it or whether I join on from someone else. Because production companies, they have some sort of stability. Because with freelance, I have another friend who does freelance, and with him, he has to like chase down money, like chase down like who owes him money, chase down like jobs and stuff, and he has worked with production companies. So there are some caveats to that, but as for right now, I want to do freelance, have fun with my stuff until I get into production company, and then I can go out, do this job from this time to this time, and then clock out for the day.
Yeah.
Because we're doing freelance, I can't really clock out because it's like, oh, I got to make videos for social media so people can see my stuff. I got to make videos for YouTube so that people can see like the process of editing. And it's like, oh, there's so much stuff I got to do. And I'm a senior, so I got to do it all now. Or at least that's the mindset I have. Like, this is one of the only summers where I don't feel like I can just relax because I got to be working. I got to be making money. I got to be doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that pathways are probably going to change in the future because my pathways have always changed. I was so adamant about editing. I was like, I just want to go into editing. That's it. And then I was like, okay, I just want to go into camera stuff, and that's it. And now I'm just like, okay, well, let's change it up again.
Yeah.
I changed so much. I feel like I remain stagnant, but I do change like quite a lot.
Yeah. And that's cool. It's really cool to hear too. Like when you're talking, when you said the whole, you don't want to be, the person up on the high riser saying, oh, high and mighty, but kind of like more like, yo, my name's Matt. Just want to, hey, I want to make videos. If you want to connect or work together, more local. I think there's a beauty in seeing that, and then kind of where we started with the whole like choosing between Tulsa and Emerson, right? Because Emerson, right, tall building, it's like city. Tulsa's a little bit more obscure. Like I tell family, like, hey, I live in Tulsa, and they're, Where's Tulsa? Where's Tulsa
Where's
at? Is
that?
that Kansas? And I'm like, no, it's Oklahoma. All right.
With the buffalo in the deserts? What?
With the buffalo, straight up. And so, kind of hearing like where you want to see yourself, it's almost kind of this continual alignment of kind of who you are, and it sounds like you're growing more and more into who you are, which is cool to see too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we come to an end of the podcast, one of the things I like to do is I like to give people an opportunity to kind of give like a word of encouragement to, I guess, like someone watching online who, or listening, who is kind of in a similar season that they went through. And the similar season that comes to my mind is someone who's maybe transitioning from high school into college, and maybe they're trying to figure out who they are, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, whatever that is. What encouragement would you give to a person who's trying to figure it out? Who's like, this is my first year. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to navigate where to go from here.
Yeah. Definitely, if you're a freshman, you have a lot of time. But you should probably use, because one thing I regret from not doing in my freshman year was I just spent a lot of time playing video games, hanging out with friends. I didn't really focus on film stuff. If you build up your portfolio, like even if it's doing like little things, but like start building up your portfolio. And if you give like you don't have to like rush to build it up because you have 4 years starting as a freshman.
Yeah.
And so if you do like maybe a video every other week, by the end of your senior year, you'll have just a portfolio of stuff that you can basically submit to whoever you want to apply for. And then also when it comes to getting jobs, it's don't wait. Don't submit a million resumes to like these big companies, because most of the time they're not going to get back to you. They're these big companies. People
True.
from New York are applying to them. Apply to local stuff. Get involved as soon as you can, because even if it's a production company, see if you can shadow them. Maybe they'll say no, but maybe they'll say yes. Maybe they'll be like, okay, we can have you on set and you can just watch. You don't even have to like interact with stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually as you shadow more, they'll see if you wanna like help out. And so just get started as soon as you can, but not as fast as you can.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's almost like the idea of like pacing yourself as you go through. But what about for a person who is also trying to find who they are as, you know, and the thought that comes to my mind is like, you know, they kind of grew up, you got to keep your hair short, tight jeans. Yeah. And it's like, no, right? Like, I want to figure this out. Like, what about someone who's trying to figure kind of that aspect out?
I feel like a lot of people that do film and do arts, they are those people that have been put in that box, and they kind of like through film or through art, they kind of want to let themselves be heard. Mm-hmm. And so find a part. Don't do what everyone else is doing. Do what you want to do. And then if you realize what you want to do is not what everyone else is doing, then you've kind of just realized you're not like everyone else. You're your own you're your own person. Yeah. Like if your editing style is different from everyone else's, then latch onto that and then elaborate on that.
100%.
Like if you you always got to bring something new to the game, and you can't bring something new to the game by doing something that Kai Cenat or Speed is doing, or big streamers. You have to do something that's personal to you that you will love, because if you do something they're doing, you're not going to love it because it's not going to be yours. You got to make something yours.
Yeah, and that's so real what you're saying too, because I feel like you end up, when you copy someone else, I feel like you easily get more burnt out because you are trying to be something you're not. You're trying to be someone you're not, versus embracing kind of who you are and feeling comfortable in that, right? Like, you know, I love the image that you gave just with like the hair and jeans, because it's like it's so real, man. It's like yeah, you wear these tight jeans all the time. Eventually, you're gonna get burnt out. It's gonna eat you up.
Yeah.
But once you're sitting in something that's comfortable, that's all like, oh no, I like jeans, but I like I like the loose ones. Like I like feeling comfortable in them. Well, you're not gonna get burnt out like that. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy that journey so much more. And so I appreciate you sharing that. It's really cool. Man, this was a great episode, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on, man. This was awesome.
This was fun. This is a
was good.
first for me.
Yeah, man. No, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, to the fitting room is so awesome to be able to hear Matt's story. And if you would like to share your story on the fitting room, feel free to fill out a Google form, message me, whatever you like to do. We'll get you on ASAP. Well, I don't know about ASAP, but we'll get you on eventually, maybe, hopefully. But until then, I hope that y'all see how you fit in the fitting room. Peace. That's it.
Nice.
That's it.